What is going on, people? Today, we're going to be talking about how to develop super credit. There's some stuff that Ty Lopez did that I've had a lot of people email me and put this stuff up about this guy. We will not mention his name because we don't want to give him any more traffic or whatever. But purportedly, in less than 1 year, or maybe a year, he got 60 to 100 credit cards. I wasn't really sure of the time span, but about, let's say 18 months ago, this person had a credit score of 580, and they've gotten 260 credit cards. Now, I'm going to give you two versions of this. I'm going to give you the version if it's true, and I'm going to give you the version if it's a lie. We're going to break that down. We're going to talk about that. And I'm going to tell you how to develop super credit for real. I look at this stuff and I just, So today's special until 5:30-ish is you get 40% off of any course that is in Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skills. And that is the code. So that's the deal for today. 40% off any course or class or anything in Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skills, including Hustle Camp and so on and so forth. All right, let's get to if it's true. Now, there's a few things you should know about getting credit cards. There's something that's called an exposure limit. And this is something that is not per one credit card. I'm going to ask you. You are a bank, and this person comes to you and says, look, I want $150,000 credit card. And you're like, the bank, that's your business. That's what you do. You're like, okay. And so you go through the app. All right, what's your name? What's your address? What's your income? And you're like, well, 35 grand. You as a banker are going to pause. Like, well, you're trying to get a $150,000 credit card with a $35,000 income. And the banker's going to stop filling out the application. They're going to put it down. And it's like, look, I can tell you this will not be approved. You do not have enough money to repay. Now, I want you to remember this. This is unavoidable. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you say. If your ability to repay is insufficient to the credit limit that you're trying to get, they're pretty much going to disapprove your credit card. All right, so let's say his story's true. I did a little snooping on him. He is a wonder kid. He started college when he was 14 or 15. So he dropping out at 20. It's not really that big of a deal. And I couldn't really find anything out about his parents, but he's super smart. He has a lot of opportunities. I am going to assume his parents have money. So this changes everything radically because this is one of the things that if you don't know, let's say you're a business owner and you have kids, and let's say your business credit cards, you've got average credit limits of $50,000 to $75,000 on the personal side, 150 to maybe $1 million on the business side. You have a moderate mid-sized business, you make about $8 million a year. You put your kids on your credit cards as authorized users when they're in high school. They will come out of high school with close to 770 to 820 credit scores just from that move alone, whether you even give them the cards or not. Why is this important? Because someone who enters college early, someone who is making these moves, someone that has knowledge of certain things, more than likely grew up in a very affluent household, extremely affluent, above, top 1%. If 1% is, to get into top 1% is $280,000 a year. So there's some more things to this if this is true. So let's say father owns a business, puts him on his credit cards as an authorized user. which kind of makes the narrative a little false because the person said they had a 580 credit score about less than 2 years ago. So there's a little trickeration there. I don't know what it is. Maybe it makes a good story. One of the things that Ty Lopez does, and he is a genius, is getting attention. You cannot sell anything to anyone unless you get attention. That's just fact. That's facts. He comes out with this course. I think he was doing it simultaneously on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And he has a huge following. So I would not be surprised if he made $2 to $4 million from that set of live streams. Wouldn't be surprised because he has the attention, he has the fan base. Now, this is another lesson for you guys who are trying to make money. Unless you have a lot of attention, it's very hard to make a lot of money. It's very hard. So he's got that. And then he's got the story of this kid who's mentoring him. So it goes on. And then here's the problem with getting 100 credit cards in a year. Now, here's the thing. There have been people who've been doing this for years. There is one, I think the Guinness Book of World Records, this guy has like 350 credit cards. If you do this over a period of time, this is very attainable. This is very doable. It's possible. But to get 50, 60, 70, 100 credit cards in 1 year, and you're not already a multimillionaire, is really challenging. It is really, really hard because typically most credit card grantors, if they see that you've got 10, 15 credit cards, they're not going to give you any more. Let's say Chase. Chase sees that you've got 5 credit cards in the last 24 months. Regardless of your credit score, you ain't getting any more. They're just like, no. And Citibank, once again, they have that rule too. If you've got most credit card issuers, if you have received 10 to 15 cards in the previous 6 months, they're not going to give you any more credit cards unless you are a multimillionaire with a deep credit profile. Just not going to do it. So if this is true, this person came from an affluent background. This person's parents put them on the credit cards a long time ago. And this is another thing, if they put you on their credit cards as an authorized user, you get to use their household income. So going along that path, this is very doable. This is very possible and is mostly true. Now, most of us don't have affluent parents to put us on their credit cards. That's just the truth. Most of us, this will not work, even though it is put out in the manner of a mixture of truth and stretching the truth to outright lies, in my opinion. The one opinion going to Cameron. Because let's talk about the travel aspect. Do I have it on me? Because the thing is, I don't really carry my credit cards with me unless I'm using them actively. So, like this bad boy. This is a really good credit card to have. The travel rewards are sick, no foreign transaction fee, right? So I went to London, plane ticket, points, hotel, points. This is real. If you go ahead and play the point game, you could probably get 20 to 35 credit cards and maximize your points. That's very possible for a person with average income. It's very doable. But you must have extreme financial discipline because you do not have the money to repay. And what will happen with your credit card issuers is they constantly monitor your credit report. That's why you'll see these little soft pulls. They're always looking at your credit report. And the minute that they start to see escalating usage, or a sudden spike in usage, or a sudden spike in the change of your spending pattern, they more than likely will shut your credit cards down. And American Express is very good at this. They're very good at this. Chase will do this too. Barclays Banks, in a heartbeat. Barclays, and if you have a Barclays card and you just got one and you have marginal credit, you're like kind of prime, kind of subprime. If you go out and get your Barclays card first and then you get another credit card, they may shut down that Barclays card if you have marginal credit and you have marginal income. So knowing all these factors, because these things have happened to me, I've known over the years, and I'm just like, I think it's very, very implausible that someone's going to get 100 credit cards in 1 year. But why does this work? Why do people buy into this? The thirst. The thirst is real. Many people are so put upon, so stressed out, that anything that sounds like a lifeline, we on that. We want to do it. Because the thing is, I watched probably half of it, and there was some good nuggets in there. There was a lot of stuff that was true, but it was also mixed with hype to really escalate the sales of the courses, because who doesn't want to build $3 million in credit lines in less than a year? Come on. But see, there's a problem with that. I know of someone who is an MBA. He's an engineer. He's a very smart guy. Great credit, had very high income, used his great credit and high income, got a $5 million business loan, SBA. He started an engineering firm. And once he pulled business from his old job because they already knew him, once that dried up, he started running into some problems. He did not know how to sell. He did not know how to set up a sales process. He was an excellent, amazing engineer. Great. But he didn't know how to run a business. So MBA, graduated top of his class, super smart guy, great credit, got access to $5 million off his good credit, off of his $450,000 a year salary. He got that $5 million. Firm started January, was it 2004? He was out of business 2007. The moral of that story is you can be very smart, you can have great credit, you can have high income, but if you do not have business experience, more than likely, whatever business you start is going to fail, which is why I assiduously say start small, get that business experience, don't put a lot of money in the business, and take your lumps and losses on a small level. You can piss around for 2 or 3 years, take your lumps, take those jabs and those punches. And because your exposure is so small, they really don't vibrate through his life. But this dude, $5 million loan, it cost him his house. It cost him his marriage. And right now he's still an engineer and he's making probably $500,000 a year. But fully half of his check is gone because he, being the man, married this woman. They had 3 kids. She gets full child support. I guess that's kind of coming to an end now. But I know he had to keep paying that mortgage for well over 10 years. And he had to pay alimony and child support and pay back that loan. So that's just a cautionary tale to many of you who want to be seduced by getting business credit, getting personal credit, getting these high loans, and making without the real business experience of learning how to sell. I'm sorry. Even if you have all of those things going for you and you don't know how to run a business and you take money and you take a loan to start a business and you don't know what you're doing, you're going to lose, baby Joe. You're going to lose. I've seen it a million times. And this is just a situation that I knew of because this dude was someone who used to kind of used to talk a little smack about me. Because I met him when I was selling office furniture. And there was a few people we kept in touch, and that's how I know his situation. So this is all this stuff is true. This is the background that probably has to be in place for it to be true. All right, so let me get into the chat room. Let's see what's going on with you people. Okay. What's going on with this? This chat's very interesting. What's up, the Wild Jones Report? What's up, Charlene McKinney? What's up, Johnny Walton, Young Brandon, Sarana, Mood, Motivation, Kylie, Tontoya, Baron, Barong Pants, 619, that's new. What's going on? Marquise Bolton, what's up? David Cologne, what's going on? Archangel, good afternoon. Mr. Knowledge, what's up? Gary, whoa. Let me go back. Gary B22GB wants to say, thanks again, Glendon. I've been watching you for years and your information has changed my life. I still go back and watch your old videos. Priceless information. Well, thank you, Gary. What's up, Erica Williams? Young Brandon. You saw that? Hey, they targeting correctly. Charlatan. That's funny, Charlatan. What's up, Brandon? Quinn Hodge, Ross, what's going on? Erica. Charlotte, seems to be too good to be true. Could be, Charlatan. Eric was, I'm cheating using household income right now. AKW Beats. I mean, a lot of people are pressed, so I can see how it can be very appealing. Esan Chance. G-Man, since I've been watching your channel, I've gone from broke Dick Danny status with a credit score in the 300s to now making additional income about 250, 300 per week. That's the deal. You got to make more money. Oh, Aunt Bricks, that's a lot of people who do that. They just don't talk about it, man. They don't talk about it. Only reason I know is because I was around, because one dude who was with his friends, he kind of pissed on him, and dude was just telling me, it's like, you know what this fool did? It is better to get 2 secured credit cards, at least $5K each. Be real, never get married while you're making good money. I don't think that's wrong if you married the right woman. He was an asshole. Okay, so there's other reasons she divorced him. I met her. She's very nice. East Engine, my credit went from 300 to 515 by just executing a few of your teachings. You know your stuff. Going to get my bread up for your courses. Awesome. What's up, regular web guy? Alicia, Doug, Jones, Andre, Kelly, what's going on? Jay Cleveland, what's up? Alex Hollis, what's up? What's up, Zola? Yeah, you can get married to start with the end in mind. All right, so let's kind of go back to, let's say if this is not real. Okay. Because once again, this is an Asian kid. He seems to be super smart. He got in the game way early. So it could be true, and he's just leaving out some very critical details. And let's say if it's false. Going back to the point of getting 100 credit cards in 1 year. That is an average of 8 new credit accounts per month. I just don't see how that's possible with I know about how credit card issuers act. Unless he's already wealthy, then all of this is a moot point. But the 100 credit cards, and let's get down to the core issue of what this is about. You don't have enough money or income from your business to live the life that you want. That's why and getting credit is an ego boost. It is very much an ego boost. Someone's going to say, hey, here's 50,000, here's 30,000, here's 100,000, just on your name, player. What? I'm the man. I'm the woman. They trust me with that kind of money. It's a big ego boost, and I had to get out of that. One of the things that I do, and this is just me based upon my life and my financial portfolio, I do not keep credit cards I don't need. Now, you'll hear this thing about you get rid of credit cards, it'll lower your score, the average age of your credit cards. I'm at a point in my life where the only thing I really need credit for is to finance real estate. I can pay cash for cars. I pay my credit card off weekly. I don't pay it off at the end of the month. I use my credit card like a debit card. I just made a $3,000 payment today to clear up some Christmas stuff. So for me, I'm not looking for credit to fund average stuff. I do need good credit, and I have good credit for real estate purchases. And what I'm pushing myself to do for the next house is to pay cash because credit is great. I am fully on board with using credit. I think credit can, if you have business experience. I'm going to say this again. If you have business experience, credit can be a great lever to push your business. It can. If you do not have business experience, I think you should stay far away from credit, business or personal, before you do anything. You should make as much money as you can without a loan, without a line of credit, all of this. Because if you have no experience, you're going to lose, baby Joe. You're just going to lose. Let's see what's going on. What's up, Alicia? What's up, Douglas Jones? Alex Hollis? Holly, what's up? Zola? Be Real? Mr. Knowledge 4017. There's a lot of good women out there. You can get married, but it's hard finding the right woman. Hot Song Beats. If something no longer shows up in your credit card report, is it gone for real? Great question. No. There is deletion and there is suppression. When that stuff supposedly fall off of your credit report, 6 years and 9 months, it is suppressed. So if someone knows how to do a full financial credit review on you, they bullet all that stuff's popping up. Dang, charlatan. Regular, maybe most of them are business credit cards. Good. That's a good look, regular web guy. So let's talk about that. Let's say most of them are business credit cards. Let's say most of them have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Let's say they have $50,000 limits. Once you get past 25, 35 grand, American Express, Chase, they're going to ask you for tax forms and financials. They may give you one or two, but once you start really having heavy usage, because like I said, they look at your credit. That's why, in my $100,000 video, it's like have a relationship with the bank so they can see how much money's going in there so they can grant you these pre-approved loans and credit cards. They're going to treat you totally different if you walk off the street and you have no banking relationship with them. They're going to look at you. American Express. Once American Express sends you this financial review, they're going to ask for paperwork. If you do not provide them paperwork, they're going to shut not just one of your American Express cards down, they're going to shut all of them down, and they're not going to open them up until you submit that paperwork. They're not going to do it. So there's a reason. American Express, charge card, you really can't get too deep with them because they're going to find out due to your spending patterns. Oh, yes, Zola, we are. Because once again, there's a mixture of truth, but here's what I think is happening. I think they use the incredible narrative of, I had a credit score of 580 less than a year ago, and now I have $3.2 million in credit card. That's an amazing journey. That makes you seem like an expert. I know why they do it, and I'm going to tell you why I don't do that stuff. I feel that I have a fundamental duty to tell you the truth, even if you don't want to hear it. I'm playing the long game. So there's a lot of people who will see that I'm talking about do the right thing, be honest. It's going to take some time. They're like, Glendon, you're my dude, but I'm going over here and getting Ty Lopez course because it promised results much faster. That's the game. I choose not to get into that type of stuff because you guys have long memories. And I guarantee you, this just came out recently, there are going to be people, well, first of all, if Ty Lopez is as smart as I know, he knows most folks are not going to go through the course. Most folks who pay for it are not going to go through the course. So he ain't even going to worry about a large contingency of those people. But for the ones who do go through the course, they get in trouble, or maybe they actually get a great experience, because if you got like $5,000 in open credit limits, you go through this course and you get up to 35, that's $25,000 increase. Ty's the man. That's just what it is. So it could be really beneficial for people. But the reason I don't get into, quote, those marketing tactics is I'm going to be here for a while. I have no desire to lie to you. I have no desire to blow smoke up your ass because I'm playing the long game. I mean, I've been here since 2009. This is 2018. I'm going to be entering my 10th year next August here on YouTube. And I'm probably going to do another 10 years. So the long money is I tell you the truth, whether you don't want to hear it. You're like, I don't want to hear that. Forget that. Forget that. I want this Tai Lopez stuff. And then you go through it and you suffer some pitfalls. You suffer some misfortunes. You know what you become? You become a seasoned customer. You be like, that Glendon, that dude, he actually said this would happen. Let me go see what he's doing. Oh, man, he got a new course. Buy it because I told you the truth. Now, this is a long, hard, arduous path because in the world of quick money, fixing stuff really quickly, escalating, getting these amazing credit profiles in just a year, that just sounds kind of dull and boring. There's no sizzle. I even had someone, and I know what he meant. He said, you really jazz up your thumbnails, right? And I was like, I'm not jazzing them up for a reason. I am not, because one of the things that's happened is I've changed the complexion of this audience. A lot of people here are not steeped in hustler porn. So I'm getting better people, more committed people. It's slower, but I'm cool with that. And that's the game I'm playing because I know that you dipping your toe into the credit water the wrong way, a lot of bad stuff can happen. Really, really bad stuff. And this is why, once again, we have a lot of people who are uneducated. They don't know how stuff works because the 30 minutes I watched, I've said a lot of the same things, but I don't have the amplification nor the audience of Tai Lopez. That's why it sounds so much better because he has more people hearing it. They definitely asked for those tax returns. Small side note, the winner of the Whoa. The winner of a 450 mega millions jackpot, the 20-year-old Florida guy, press release says that the claimant is the managing members of an LLC. Well, that's nice to hear. Because, see, if I ever won the lottery, I would put in my LLC because then I don't have to put my name out there. I think it was probably mentioned. He's gotten some good advice. He's gotten some very good advice. The Hectorics, the most convincing lies contain 95% truth. That 5% that's untruth is vital and hidden in plain sight within the lines. Yeah, had a business and Ty bought him in on this thing. He's also quit going to Stanford. Yeah. Telling you, okay. See, I didn't even know about that lottery winner, but that's really good to hear. Well, a lot of these kids are getting really smart. Let's talk about Bitcoin for a minute. Bitcoin, if you look at the chart, you will see that Bitcoin for a long time was steadily going up. And for those of us who bought at 8 cents and it was $300, that was incredible. That was, wow, this is a lot of return on my investment. But when institutional money, and I'm going to tell you what happened with Bitcoin, and I'm almost sure of it. Since Bitcoin is unregulated, they can do things that they cannot do with other securities. It's pump and dump. And we're going to see if I'm correct, because I think that after Christmas, the new, I don't care what Bitcoin is, I don't even want to study it because I'm making money, that money has run out or almost has run out. And when it runs out, you're going to see the true valuation of Bitcoin. and I think it's going to dip below 10 grand. I could be wrong, but it has been struggling since that big crash. It went to 16 and boom, it just cannot. And if you look at the chart, this is atypical behavior because every few months it will go down. That's the big money taking their profits. Then they go back up. And see, what will happen is these big companies, these big individuals take their profits, then go, when it crashed, buy it cheap, and then do it over again. We will see if I'm right or wrong. I'm telling you, even when I'm writing financial goals, I go back to old videos here. I can't go ask family members. They don't know. Wow. Yeah, Jay Green. All right, here's the thing about putting your lottery in an LLC. If you really know the game, you can put your LLC, your lottery winnings in a blind LLC, which means there's a few states you don't have to say your name of who owns that LLC. So you take your lottery winnings and nobody knows that you won the lottery. I want you to understand, I had a friend who won like not even $1 million. He won like $800,000 when Georgia Lottery Reserve. He had people coming out of the woodwork. Oh, I'm your cousin. You don't remember me? I'm from your mama's birth side. It's a lot of power in the winning the lottery and having nobody being able to find you or contact you or harass you. Oh, okay. Like I said, I don't even keep up with that. That was some great advice most winners don't follow. Get financial advice before you claim your winnings. Definitely. Plus, let's say this 20-year-old has a baby's mama. By putting that money in the LLC and not his name, it makes it harder for her to come after him. Douglas Jones, guy in Connecticut, did the same thing. Numbers were lower, like around 145 million. Folks lost their minds, but Lotto said, why not? Wasn't a kid, though. Guy was a financial professional, though. Okay. Because the thing is, they're going to take the tax out. Whether it's your personal or your business, they're going to take the same amount of tax out. But having it in a corporation gives you a lot of options that you just take that money and put in your name. All kinds of stuff can happen. What's up, Christian? It's quiet on Facebook, so all these Bitcoin experts. Yeah, because every time, I put something, matter of fact, let me show y'all real quick. All right. I don't know why that's like that. Because I've just been posting all kinds of crazy stuff on Facebook lately. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Oh. Well, let me show you this real quick. For those who are looking at the Bitcoin price chart. All right. See this? This is what it's been doing, and it's not been too crazy. Then boom. All right. So right here is when the institutional money came in hard, and you saw this big crash, right? Then you saw it crashed again. You don't see this anywhere. Well, you kind of see it there. Yeah, you kind of see it there, but you don't see a double crash. Nowhere else in this timeline do you see a double crash. So we will see if it can get past that, but I don't think it will. I could be wrong. All right, so let's go to Facebook. And let's see, where did I put it? Because I did a little write-up about it. And if you are part of, well, my page is wide open, so you can get in there and see it. Where is that? I did a little write-up a few days ago. Yeah, here it is. All right. Oh, that would help. So I will just go ahead and throw that off in the comments. But you can read about it. And it's just my feelings on it. And like I said, I believe in the blockchain. I believe in cryptocurrency. I believe a coin is going to come along that's going to make Bitcoin gains look like chump change. I think that's coming. But Bitcoin has a lot of infrastructural problems that people keep like, well, they're going to fix it. Lightning Network's going to fix it and all this stuff. Well, what about the fork and all this other stuff? And it just doesn't materialize. It doesn't. It just doesn't. So you can go ahead and let me throw that off in here. I wonder, will that link work? Because whenever I put links in from my courses, they don't. Oh, big time, Barong. It's unregulated. That's why it's doing this. King Crypto, never been on one of your live streams. 28-year-old brother from New Jersey. Thank you for all the good info you do daily. Looking forward to your crypto channel. Yeah, it's going to be real different. It's not going to be hype. The Florida kid's father is a lawyer. There it is. Are credit cards from credit union? I mean, you could probably get higher limits from credit unions. A friend of mine put her health courses on the website while advertising. She had to say, "I do not accept Bitcoin as a form of payment." Really? That's interesting. All right, so as Tony Charlatan was saying, how do you get super credit for real? All right, so I will go ahead and give you what I do, and we can talk about that. So for one, I have a fundamental policy in my life not to have things I don't need, including material possessions, including credit cards, because I've never had credit issues on my own from spending too much. I've never had that problem, but just having these things around, they make me a little nervous. So good point was Home Depot had a Home Depot Mastercard that was through GE Financial. Nope, no social, nothing. Just your EIN number. You got it. I opened that credit card up with like a $10,000 limit. 6 months, I went to 100 grand. And I had it for a while, but I had paid off. Then they closed the card. So imagine if I had some, debt on that. I would still have to pay that off. So just as a fundamental reason, my financial philosophy is always make more money, make more money, make more money. You want to use your credit cards like debit cards. Do not spend money that you do not have. So the path to super credit, because here's the thing. You see people stressing out about their score, keeping their score high. There's 2 times you need really good credit. When you're opening up a credit card or you're buying a house. You can get amazing cars now for not really that high of interest rate with bad credit. So essentially, you need to, 1, create a source of income that you can ramp up. That is the biggest thing that you can do. Now, number 2, if you want to play the credit card game, which is where you get travel, you probably need an income of 50 to 75,000, and you need a credit score of 750 or more. What you do is every 3 months, well, first of all, you do what's called App-O-Rama, which is where you apply for 5 or 6 credit cards the same night within 30 minutes of each other. You just go boom, 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 boom. If your credit's really good, you may get all 5, but you're going to probably get at least 3. Now you do that, and then you let your credit season or garden. You don't apply for anything else for 6 months. Then you wait again. But during those 6 months, you kind of look and see who has the best offers, who has the best points. Then you do it again, because your credit will take a short-term hit. Your points will go down, but you don't go ahead and use this stuff, then your credit score goes up. Then 6 months later, you do it again. Then 6 months later, you do it again. You just keep doing this for about 2 or 3 years, and you're going to have around 30, 40 credit cards. You're going to have credit limits of 10 to 35,000, and you're probably going to have a credit portfolio of $250 to $350,000 in open credit lines. And that's pretty much how you get super credit that you can manipulate, but you cannot use to its full limits because you can't pay it back. So one of my fundamental things is, why have credit cards that you cannot use? That's like having a woman you can't have sex with, in my opinion. So going back to the credo of up your income first. When you do this, you use credit as a convenience, which is what you should be doing, not an extension of income. Bitcoin has a big time scaling problem. Do you notice that when people jumped into it, a lot of the exchanges closed or couldn't handle the traffic. And this is like 1% of the country. What's up, Leslie? How to use the 40%? Well, you go ahead and you sign up, and then there's a little box where you go pay, and there's like a coupon box there. That's how you use it. Oh, I mean, I'm going to be here for a while. This is another thing. The long game is just that. This morning I had some people who were pushing back on working very hard. You work very hard, your health goes downhill. I don't know any other way to do it. I mean, you have these hacks of people who want to get, because I was watching this thing about the Korean government thinking about banning Bitcoin exchanges, and Bitcoin price dropped like $2,000. And they said this is the only way to make big money fast. I know this is an antiquated notion. I know this is probably going to turn some of you off. But when you earn something, you take your time, you build it correctly. To me, it's just much more satisfying. Because here's the thing about fixing your credit real quick. If you don't go through a lot of trials and tribulations, more than likely you're going to end up in the same situation. But if you have to suffer while fixing your credit about 2 years, you're going to develop a level of financial discipline where you're just not going to get in that situation again. And that's the real game. Invalid coupon code. This has been acting up today. Hold on a second. Let me see if nope, people been using it, so it works. It's 40%, so that works. All right. Let's see. How is their health failing from working 60 hours a week? Stop it. Most of them desk jobs are light work. Well, the thing is, many people have this, and let's get into the philosophy of how to build super credit. What is the biggest thing that gets people to take action? You can build super credit very, very rapidly. You can build super credit in a matter of months, and then you can take this money and then invest it in businesses or do other things with it. But the fallacy is, if you don't know how to run a business, even if you have the money, it's still not going to work. And that's the thing that really creates a lot of problems. Be real. Yeah, I fixed my credit and nothing will make me get into that situation again. I love having good credit and I guard it with my life. I mean, that's just the repercussions of going through that. Zola, up my income first, then get the 2 or 3 cards at $5,000 a piece or more, and make sure I don't spend more than 10% of the cards limits. Apply for more cards. Repeat. Yeah, I mean, if you look at this, and I did it in another video. Let's say you have credit of $430,000, and you've addressed some other issues on there where you're in the position, because some of these cards will not give you a secured card if your credit score is too low. So for some of these cards, you got to get your credit score at least a 550 just to apply. But you get to secured cards that convert, and you need to make sure they convert. Then after a year, you don't use them. You've got good credit, and you got $10,000. One of the things that I want for you guys to understand is how to develop financial discipline. If you can develop this discipline, like last year, I spent a lot of money. I spent like $200,000 on that credit card, but the spending is stopped, which means, well, one of the things I do is when I was rolling, because I had all those clients, I used a credit card for everything. But now I have a little cash in here, and that's what I use. And I give myself a little cash budget, and once I blow it, I don't get any more money to the next week. Now, I could go in and pull money from savings, or I could pull money from this, but once again, once you start treating your money with respect, your money will respect you, and you'll always have money. You'll always have money. You can have some pain today or working with 7-year-olds with real pain. Our change are true. You're less likely to let someone, including yourself, tear down the hard work you put also into knowing how to prevent relapses. Things go wrong quick when they're set up, when they go wrong. Alicia Anthony, what did I think about using credit repair companies to fix your credit? I think you should do it. I'm not going to cast any dispersions on credit repair companies. I don't know if they're good or bad, but I think you should fix your credit yourself, where you go through that experience so you have that memory that the minute you want to do something foolish with your credit, once you fix it, you will not do it. RJ, the first time I got a 750 credit score, they said, "Oh, sir, no worries. We can take care of you. No problem. No extra fees or money down is crazy. You save so much money managing it well." Yes, you do. All right. Thank you, Richard Moore. Farrell, I recently filed Chapter 13 bankruptcy. What steps should I take to get my credit back on track for while I'm in process? Well, see, you got a problem. You filed 13, which means you're making payments. As long as you're making payments, you're not supposed to get any more new credit without the approval of the trustee. So until from my vantage point, I don't know how much you owe, but you can pay that off early. So my advice to you is the same. Make more money, pay it off early, and then start repairing your credit. Because legally, you're not supposed to get any more credit while you're under a Chapter 13 protection. A lot of people don't know that. And I think the way that they've changed the bankruptcy laws, if you have a job and you earn money, I don't think you can do a Chapter 7. I think they force you into a 13. So that's problematic. Jay Cleveland, just curious, excuse my ignorance. If I was doing more movie roles and I am filling out tax forms to get paid and it asks for my social security number, yes, you could use your EIN number. If you as an actor put yourself under your company or your LLC, you can use that and get paid through your company, which is a great deal. So let's see, just for people who are having issues, all right, so you can get any course up here for 40% off, and this is the code that you use. And at 40 should be a little closer to the percent. It's all just one thing. So that's one of the things. How did I develop super credit? And once again, my credit is malleable. I do not have credit cards or keep stuff around I just don't need. That's a personal philosophy. I'll probably never have 30 or 40 credit cards. At the most, I'll have 5 or 6. That's pretty much it, because the mandate is make more money. Use credit when it makes sense. If, like, say, I'll tell you when I use credit a lot. When Public Storage takes credit cards for auctions, right? And I spent all my cash. And at the end of the day, this room, I saw one item at the beginning of the door. It was a Mac toolbox. I knew the toolbox was $2,000 used. So I was like, okay, I can spend $2,000 on this. And I got my credit card. I had the Home Depot credit card with a $100,000 limit. So I was like, I was going to roll on it. And I got the unit for like $3,800. So I was gambling to some extent. But here's the thing. I had nothing else on that credit card. So I spent the $3,800 on that credit card. I had 30 days to pay that credit card. So I go out. The Mac toolbox was what I thought it was. It was a Mac toolbox, and it was full of tools. So that was 5G. So that was my $38,000, which I made that money, paid that credit card. As soon as I got that $38,000, then I had $1,200 profit. Then we sold the rest of the stuff. That's one of the things I would do. If it was a really good unit and I knew I could make money, I had no problem pulling out that credit card. Some people use their credit card exclusively and went to Public Storage because they got crazy points. I know Snowball got 1,000,000 points one year. Yes, million points. He was flying first class. He and his wife was taking cruises. So I would say if you have a valid use, because right now I don't have a valid use of paid traffic because I'm still building some stuff out and I'm changing some stuff around. But when I get into paid traffic again, I will be using the Chase card because it has points. I don't have American Express, which does offer a better point structure because I really like to be in the position of doing stuff because I have the money, if that makes sense. And, you know, like, other than my house, everything I own is paid for. So if this business shut down, I'm not losing my cars. I'm not losing my house. The house is pretty much the only debt I have. And what I've learned from this, and I'll tell you a story, because you see all these numbers. You need $1 million for retirement. You need $2 million for retirement. You need $3 million for retirement. Well, I grew up in a place called Adamsville, Alabama, and I saw Miss Bay, Miss Kennebrew, Mrs. Jones, Miss Lanier. I saw all these old people who had houses that were paid off, had a car that was paid off, and I would sell them stuff. You know, back in the day, we were always selling candy stuff, and they would always buy. They really supported me. And I noticed that these people lived on their small pensions because then they were small, but getting your house paid off and getting your car paid off as soon as you can retire. You really can. And you got a lot of people out here playing these financial games without looking at the core thing. If you get, let me give you a real life situation. I got a friend. She bought her first house, which was a condo, right when she was in college. A lot of folks don't know this, but she bought it as soon as she graduated college. That car dealerships, and a lot of mortgages, and a lot of folks don't tell you this, they will give you a loan as soon within 6 months of being out of college. So she went in, she had a job. She didn't have any tax forms or nothing. She took a letter from her employer saying this is what she made, and she got her first house. She kept that for 10 years. And I mean, it was like a 3-bedroom condo. And she just like, you know what? The mortgage was so cheap that she just routinely threw 100, 200, 300, 400 bucks on the principal. Well, long story short, she got this sucker paid off in 15 years. Then she bought her next house and she rented that out. Well, she went through life. She had kids and stuff. And she told me, she said, you know how many times the rent from that condo just saved the day. So now she's got her other house paid off. She has pretty much Social Security and some other stuff. I think part of her 401k because she's like 63 and she's not retired yet. She hasn't retired, but I think the rent from the condo is like $950 a month. So she has $950 a month coming in, and her Social Security, I think that's going to be $1,000. And then she's thinking about renting out her house, which would probably be like $2,000. So she can have like $4,000 with $3,000 coming from rental property. She is not a millionaire, but once again, $4,000 a month, $3,000 a month, passive income, 30. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to retire if you get certain obligations paid for way early. Let's say you do the 30-year mortgage, and by the time you're 65, your house is paid for. That's problematic. By throwing extra money on top of your house, you can get that house paid for really quickly. You can get that house paid for in 10 years or 15 years. Growing up, most folks, they had 10-year mortgages. I know that's really strange because all these loans and stuff are front loaded. They're front loaded with interest. So for the first 10 years, you're just paying mostly interest. If you were to just consistently put $250 toward the principal every month on a mortgage, you would probably knock off 7 to 8 years off the life of that mortgage, if not more. But you got to understand how these things work and how you can win with them. Let's see. Ganja, you will lose your job at the federal level if you file a Chapter 13. I didn't know that. Wow. but I never carry it with me. Jay Cleveland Green, I appreciate you. Sure thing. Be real. How do you feel about purchasing real estate with business credit? Here's the thing with business credit. You must use that business credit for a permissible purpose. Now, if you buy this real estate with business credit and everything goes fine and you pay back the credit, nothing's going to happen to you. But if things go bad and they find out that you use that loan or that money, because they'll ask you on the loan application, what are you using this money for? And if you don't use it for its permissible purpose, you cannot bankrupt out of it. I'm just saying. And also understand, when you're talking about 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000, banks are going to sue you for that. They're not just going to like, oh, we're going to wipe this off. No. They're coming after you. The Shiki's funny. Pretty much charlatan. Jay Cleveland, I also have a DUNS number. How do you apply that to my business? You'll put that on any loan application. That's not part of your business, so per se. I'm going to work on that because I've put like 2 letters. Uh, Only smart people get advice from Glendon. Money now, slavery later. If you get a 62 grand advance from a major publisher without this extra struggle, it was funny. I was all about getting advance before I really knew how publishing worked. That was the plan. And then they offered me $5,000. And you got to understand how an advance works. It's broken down into thirds. You get a third upon signing, you get a third upon submission of the manuscript, and you get a third when the book is published. So I wouldn't even got to 5 grand, or they offered me 5 grand, and they offered me 10 grand. So I would have got like $3,000 turn in the book. Probably, there would have been 6. Let's make it 5, 6 grand a month. I was like, no, thank you. It's exposure is a mother. It really is. Good deals, the Shiki. Regular web guy. So this is how you should handle credit, in my opinion. You should pay off as much as you can, because once you start feeling the pain of making big payments, like I said, I just paid like $3,000. I had some cash in my wallet. I stopped by the bank, and then because it went up because I had some deductions come out. And matter of fact, let me see. I can actually show you this today. So, whoa. Okay. Yeah, that was a payment to the credit card. I did that today because I got a little lax and stuff. But you should only use your credit as an extension. You shouldn't use your credit as an extension of income. This is what gets most people in trouble. Let's say you've got $80,000 in credit lines, right? Visa, Mastercard. You get laid off. If you don't ever use those credit cards, it's like, okay, I'm laid off. I have no income. I can't use these credit cards. Your credit is going to stay straight. It really is. Now, let's talk about super credit because I know people are getting antsy. Super credit is when you're getting $50,000 credit limits off the Rift, and you have about $250 to $1 million in open credit lines. Let me say that again, $1 million. It will probably take you 3 years to do this. But the first thing is you got to know how to speak to the reconsideration analysts and stuff, because there's some things you should avoid, like American Express. Do not play around with American Express. They will punish you. Chase can be bad. Barclays is probably the worst. Wells Fargo's is okay. Bank of America's okay. But what you want to do is get your first $50,000 credit card. Or you can play Chase, and let's say Chase gives you, because Chase is real interesting. Chase, like you can call up Chase and say, hey, I want a credit limit increase, right? And they'll say no. And then on the same phone call, you can say, well, I want to apply for this credit card. And the analyst will take your credit app over the phone and actually give you a credit card with a bigger loan credit line than what you were asking for on the new credit thing. And then what you can wait is like 2 or 3 months, and then you can merge these two. So let's say they give you 35 grand on the Chase Freedom, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and then they give you like 20,000 on the Chase Freedom. You can just call them up and just say, look, I want to close out the Freedom, but I want to move that credit line over to this. And more likely, if you've been paying on time, you have a good credit record, they'll do it. So boom, you got your $50,000 credit card. Now, once you do that, you want to clean up your credit report and get rid of all low limit credit cards. I know this is going to sound very controversial because people are like, no, I closed my credit cards, my credit score is going to tank. Trust me, it will go down a little bit, but you have this $50,000 credit card, you have it for 6 months. Then what you'll do is you look for someone else who and there's credit sites you can check to see what people issue, and you go for another $50,000 credit card. You want to have high credit limits. You want to, because the thing is, American Express will come after you pretty quickly. Once you get to like 100K, they'll freeze you there. But Chase, you can probably get up to 150,000. Citibank, you could probably get up to, well, let's say, you know what? Let's have this conversation. There's your basic credit cards, there's your regular credit cards, and there's your premium credit cards. That would be your Chase Sapphire, that would be your Ritz-Carlton, that would be your Marriott. You want to have 3 to 5 prime, premier credit cards in your wallet. All of these cards will give you some points in some fashion. They'll give you access to airport lounges and things like that. So that's kind of the path. And I will put that in super credit, and I'll clean it up, and I'll give you, and it will be in super credit with the crypto course. It will not be in there. Well, I think it might be. I don't know. I have to look. Let's see. I mean, yeah, because the thing is, a lot of people are sold that you need $1 million to $2 million to retire. If you have active income, because there's the thing is real estate is passive income. If you go out and get a renter and you go through the process, and that's kind of active. I mean, it's just not, passive income. You buy a stock, hold it forever, and money just comes in. But if you can amass 2 or 3 houses and get them paid off before you retire, you set. I mean, you got property taxes and homeowners insurance, which isn't a lot if you depend on where you live. But if you've got 3 houses, and we ain't even talking about crazy money, we're talking about 3 houses, $1,000 a month rent. That's 3 G's a month coming in on top of your Social Security. That's a lot of money when the average income in this country is 38 grand per single person. Plus, you go out and get you a part-time job. I feel that old people should work. I don't think that sitting at home, if you don't have something to do, you're just going to wither away. But once again, I just don't believe in that. You got to have $1 million, $2 million to retire if you've got active income or you've got income producing assets. I just don't believe it. But once again, most of the financial advice is driven and aimed at so-called smart people. And it's just, if you sit down with pen and paper and do the math, you was like, whoa. And if you get 5 houses and you got rents between $1,000 and $2 grand, even if they're not always full. And then, with this Airbnb thing, if you get a house in the right location, there's so many ways you can work it. Yeah, you definitely want to pay off as much as your credit cards. Yeah, the student loan thing is no joke. Jake Cleveland Rockstone. That's what I'm asking. Yeah, I mean, part of this is a lot of people are saying, I mean, to be honest, real estate bought properly is not a bad investment. But the thing is, if you leverage it to the point that everything must go correctly, people, you must get a renter at a certain time. The renter must always pay on time. If any of those things are don't happen, and then your whole house of cards come falling down, that's just bad. I just don't think. Well, I don't think you should allow on business credit applications. I know that seems very holier than thou, but I just seen this what happened to people, because understand, they will come after you. They're not just going to let 20, 30, 40, 50 grand go like over like a credit card. They're not going to let that go. They're going to come after you. And if the amount warrants enough for them to get a private investigator to check out what you did, they will. Get 5 houses cash flowing on your own merits, then branch into business credit. Yeah, because see, the thing is, you got 5 houses with positive cash flow. That is income that you can put on a credit app. That's real income. Multifamily works. I think what happens with real estate is, what are you comfortable with? What do you want? Because I have flirted around with real estate, and I have had some issues with real estate. So I'm staying in my lane by creating these courses. By create this worked from really very very well for me. What's up, Brian? So part of this thing is because I'm going to do that in the super. I'll probably do that this weekend. There will be no live streams this weekend. Since I'm doing so many Monday through Friday, that's just what it's going to be. So there will be nothing this weekend. I will do the super credit process. And this is for someone who already has good credit. We're working on the crypto course and some other stuff. But one of the things that you've got to realize is personal discipline is so important in all of this. I mean, it's imperative. You've got to have it, because if you don't, it's just not going to work. You know, a lot of the stuff I talk about is like ultra conservative. It's not flashy. Like, you know, the whole thing about this video and this guy. Either he has very wealthy parents or he's lying. That's it. That's the only way these things are going to work. There is no path for an average person with bad credit to get 100 credit cards in 1 year unless there's some subterfuge going on. Based upon how the credit card issuers work. You go to Barclays and you've applied for 10 credit cards and you have those 10 credit cards, they're not going to give you one. Regardless, if your credit score is 850, they're not going to give you one. The Barclays is a very conservative bank. SunTrust, they're not going to give you a credit card if you've applied for too many credit cards and got them. And most banks is 2 and 3. That's why I'm like, there's something else. What I think is maybe mom or dad has a bunch of credit cards. They put him on authorized user, and that's why he had the credit cards with his name on it. There's a lot of ways to legitimately do that, but looking at the situation that occurred, most people are just not in that situation. They're just not. I mean, I put my daughter on my one credit card, just one. She went from no credit score to 750, just like that. So there's so many ways to do this. Let's see, y'all having that conversation. I mean, you know, like once again, you get 2 to 4 pieces of real estate. That could be your retirement. For real. Because he implies he's not in school and he has no income. And that's another thing. On those apps, you got to put down income. I saw a comment that you can get credit cards without putting down income. I was like, what world do you live? That's one of the first questions they ask, how much money you make. There was someone that I'm trying to reach out to get on the show. What she and her husband did, she's young too. She's like 24. They bought a piece of multifamily real estate. It was 200 grand. They have two renters and they're living rent free. So, and she's like, this isn't the house, but essentially that situation, they can have two renters paying the mortgage and they can literally have another apartment that's paying them positive cash flow. So multifamily works, but once again, it really depends on what you're doing and how you're situating it. Now, I'm going to tell you a way to, I'm just going to throw this in there. What you want to do if you want to buy real estate, cash money, you need to go to the hood. And what you do, and this is very much illegal and you're going to have all kind of problems with it, but it can still work. So you go to the hood and you find a house that you can get for 25 to 30 grand. You put as much as you down as you can because a lot of banks are not going to do $30,000 mortgages. This is pretty much investor cash only. So you can find an investor who's like, all right, you put down 10 and they'll float you a note. So what you do is you improve the property. You do whatever you need to fix it. You could turn it into a boarding house. You could rent it to 2 or 3 people. And that's something else too that's happened. I'll talk about that later. So let's say you improve the property to $50,000. So you bought it for 25, you've improved it to 50, you sell it. Once again, you're still dealing with investors because banks don't do mortgages that low. Then you pay back due whatever you owe them. Now you got 25 grand. Then you can buy another house. But the thing is, you pay cash, then you improve it, and then you flip it. Now, if you flip property like this for 2-3 years, you could flip your way up into a $200,000 or $300,000 house. This is one of the ways that probably 7 years of flipping, you could flip into a $200,000, $300,000 house that's already paid off. You could do this with cars, buy a cheap car, improve it. Like you can go, I should do this as a course. You can go to Maaco and get their cheap paint job, and you literally getting a cheap paint job and quote conditioning the car. You could sell that car for $750 to $1,500 more. I had a 525i BMW, which I had for a while, and I went to Maaco and I got it painted. They did a very good job. They took all of the stuff, the emblems and stuff off. They masked it up. There was no overspray. And I put some nice rims on it, which I got from Craigslist for $300. They were the BBS basket weaves. And I was able to sell that car for like $6,000. Now, if it looked the way where the hood was faded and stuff, it had the original wheels, probably couldn't have got $3 grand for it. Looks matter greatly. I had nice seat covers with BMWs on it. There's a lot of things you can flip. Big M110, the Asian kid said nobody put him down as an AU. He says he does have a business, but he never specified what it was. If he said that, because I only watched 30 minutes of it, then he is lying. There's nobody that's going to give someone, because the thing is, they also ask you your age. So you're 19 years old, because understand when this happened, he was 19. You're 19 years old. You have no income. No one authorized it. No, I didn't see that. I didn't get that far in it. But if he says no one puts him as an authorized user, he's lying. Straight up, I'll say that, because once again, I've went through this. Once you get to a certain number of credit cards, even if your credit is good and you haven't maxed them out, banks loathe to give certain people more credit cards. You got to get into calling, reconsideration, doing all this other stuff. And that's a lot of phone calls. I mean, once again, that's 8 credit cards per month. Even if they're $5 grand, that's 40 grand a month in new credit limits. A month? No. Chase 524 room is killing me. Need that Chase Inc. business. True, Tanya. Oh, when I was looking at getting in real estate before the hurricanes, You had so many properties that were literally 100K in Florida with pools, 4 bedrooms and stuff. And I was just like, what kind of incomes do these people have down here for the property to be so cheap? So that's another thing, because typically your home price is going to reflect what you can rent that for, you know. In 2006, I went to a credit union for a 15K loan for a 3-year-old Jaguar. The car inspection was negative, so they just gave the check back plus $8 in interest. It looked like I paid it off early. Credit went up. Credit unions can be great. Anton Briggs, never identify yourself as the landlord. There's a lot of truth to that. Big M1110. I didn't see that part, but that's because, I mean, like I said, you can get 200, 300 credit cards, but it's going to take you some years. This is not something you're going to do in 1 year or 2 years, especially starting off with bad credit. That's just not going to happen. But thank you for putting that. And also, let's talk about business. You know, I don't think there's 200 business credit cards. If you go through all the ones, I don't even think it's that many. So there's clearly some other stuff that's going on. Now, I personally have no store credit cards because I don't see the point. I can get whatever I need with Visa or Mastercard. But that's pretty wild, man. That's very wild. That is crazy, really. So, Big M1110, what did you think of his presentation since you watched it? You know, just honest opinion. I'm not going to beat you up one way or another. Let's see, where are we with this? Okay. So, all right. Once again, you can get any of these courses up to like $530, because I think it's $450 now, and for 40% off. And then Monday, I will be introducing something else. This is the code. And let's talk about the live experience. If you are a paid member of Hustle Camp, you can come. What you need to do is let Patty know, and because we got a cutoff, because I can only get so many people in this room. Here is it's only so much, because I think I can get 12 people in here comfortably, and that's the key word, is comfortably. And as these things grow, I'll get a bigger space. But right now, I want to maximize this space to its fullest capacity. All right. Donald Gazette, increase your credit in less than 6 months by keeping utilization below 10%. That's possible. I'm gonna break some real to you. If you're making 35 to 40K, what do you think is the possibility of you getting 100K in credit lines in 1 year? I really think about that. If you were a bank, would you give someone who was only making 35 grand a year $100,000 in credit lines in a year? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. Archangel, keep money in the business. Charlie, in the presentation came out like, this is where you guys can make money. Not my main thing. These guys will be running it and drop it by from time to time. There are 5,000 credit cards, but it's a book selling them a bunch, or store credit cards. Yeah, like I don't think there's like 100 business credit cards. I really don't, when you think about it, because there's American Express, they have theirs, there's Chase Inc. I don't think there's like 100 premier business cards. I know there's like thousands, the store cards, but you know what? Let's find out. Let me do a little snooping. Let me go ahead and find this out. Let's see. Close that window. How many business cards are there? Visa and Mastercard. Let's see. All right, so let's kind of go through this because I really don't think it's 100 of them. Now, there's any credit, like a lot, like credit unions that don't have business checking are not going to have business credit cards. I think there's like thousands of credit union cards. Let's see. Spark, Inc., Blue, Bank of America. Let's see how many are. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I mean, seriously, I don't think there's a lot of those business credit cards, but I could be wrong. This would be something really good to do. Small business cards, Visa. Don't even know what this is. That's not. Is it the same thing? BP Business Solutions, Key Business Mastercard, SunTrust Specialty. I'll have to really investigate that. All right, so let me see what dude said about this. BM110 was skeptical to how a 20-year-old could amass 3.2 million in credit, supposedly 1 year, like the old adage goes. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Knew the sales pitch was coming. I mean, I'll just go ahead and say it. Dude's lying. Based on what I know, not what I think I know, but what I know about how credit card issues, because I tried this stuff before. And this is where I learned about exposure limits. Now, if he had said this before the Great Recession, yeah, sure, yeah, he could have did that. They didn't care. They really didn't care. I mean, when I found business credit for the first time and I got that $100,000 credit limit on that Mastercard with no PG, I was like, is this real? So, if someone that got really deep in business credit about 2006 and got like 10 of those bad boys, yeah. But after the recession, when they put all these controls and stuff in there, and when they started saying, when no doc or low doc loans went away, when every mortgage you still have to have two, not in this environment, that's just not possible. It's just not possible. I don't care how smart you are unless you got some help. So the fact that he said that he had no AUs, because I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's like, if his parents made bread, they put him on this authorized user, and they had a long credit history, yeah, that could work. But from scratch with bad credit in 1 year, here's the thing. If you got bad credit, it's going to take you a minimum of 3 to 4 months to clean it up if you're really good. So purportedly, he did that in less than a year. Because remember, he said he had bad credit, 580. You can't get some of these top tier scores with less than a 725. You just can't get these cards. So there's a lot of stuff in there. Zola, Glendon, if you took I probably could improve it greatly, but the thing is, once again, I'm going to tell you the truth. So, it just depends. Also, that would be copyright infringement. Like if I took his course and then made it better, that would be, I can't really do that without his permission, and he would not give me his permission. Jerry Westbrook's. How do they know how much you make besides the application? You notice on this credit application, they ask you this one question: do you own or rent, and what is your rent? I'm going to give you a little freebie. Even if you don't own, you should put that you own. Because if you own, that gives them a big profile of what your money looks like. If you're renting, that's like they actually deduct a lot of points. There are software, there's so much information online about you that they can approximate your income through very cheaply. Is it business credit? You can get there either with business credit or personal credit. Costing you just paid $13.50 for 3 houses in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. One has a long-term renter paying $275 a month. Wow. Yeah, because the thing is, if you go to the hood, you go out. You like. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not going to do it. But if you buy a trailer park, you can make crazy bank. You can buy a trailer park for the cost of a high-end car. But once again, you will have some management issues. What's up, Derek? Jerry Westbrook? I'm telling you, I'll take the truth for 200, Alex. If you will remember, he said it was more than that kid. He had other people. One thing about Ty Lopez, he is a master at getting attention. And I'm going to say on this one, it's a little scammy. It's just like, this isn't possible. But once again, there are many people who are not educated on how credit card issuers work. There's a lot of folks who don't know. Like when you do the Apparama and you get like so a lot of these card issuers will turn you down. Like let's say you do a 5-card Apparama and then you don't wait long enough. You will instantly get denied for all these cards because you just got 5 new credit accounts. When they check your credit report, they know what you got and when you got it. Because, sometimes you go online and you fill it out and you get instant approval. And the other times they have to wait. There is something that they're going to see. And I guarantee you, if you got 5 brand new credit accounts in a month, you're going to reach a point of diminishing returns. I mean, you're just going to reach a point of diminishing returns. I mean, it's just not, it ain't real. It's just not real, man. But once again, let's look at the root of this. Most people don't make money. Most people are thirsting for the good life, the big life, popping bottles, being able to take your family on a nice vacation. You ever notice on all this stuff, they always show you the benefits of what you can do, and they don't really show you the hard work that's going to take you to get there. The reason I did this stream is I've had so many people come to me for this, and it's just implausible without some subterfuge. Now, if there's some subterfuge and there's some other stuff, let's say you have a business, right? Once you get to certain exposure limits, they start asking for tax forms. You don't provide them tax forms, they will cut your credit limit. So, I mean, any way you look at it, this is just an implausible story. The bank guessed my PayPal accounts by 10. Wow, Dylan Green, how difficult it is to get these trade lines up and running? Depends on what you're trying to do. It's not difficult. If you have a job and you have a credit score of 720 or greater, you can get all the business credit that your income will allow. It ain't really hard. The hard part is getting the money and knowing what to do with it. Yeah, because the thing is, like me, personally, my income, I'm an indigent. Everything runs through the company. The car is in the company name. Glendon Cameron, don't really have any money. I have nothing. I just manage stuff. And one of the reasons, y'all know why I keep it like that, and I'll keep it like that for a long time. But part of running these trade lines is knowing how they work. Because I was telling someone some of the things you're going to have to do to get the business credit, because there's a lot of things you have to do to create a profile to get the real business credit. And no one's really talking about this stuff on YouTube. I think he's had this in the works. And once again, you got to understand, Ty Lopez's business model is way different than mine. Ty Lopez, like I said, literally, he put that live stream on. He had it on Facebook. He had it on YouTube. He had it on Instagram. He had it on Twitter. I would not be surprised if he made $1 million or $2 or even $3 million that day. One day. His model is totally different. He's built himself as an authority of certain things. He has a huge following, and he just cranks it. So I think that's his thing, just provide these things. And, my thing's way different. So that's part of it. So many things happen, but once again, the creed should be getting your money up, because I want you guys to know what it's like to pay cash for a car. I want you guys to know what it's like to pay cash for a house. I paid cash for some smaller rental properties, but I've never paid cash for where I stay. I want to know that feeling, which means I got to earn more money, because I think part of the reason that I'm this way is I've lost the high that comes from getting credit cards. I remember I was a young soldier, and I got my first Citibank card, First Union Visa, First Union. I don't even know. I think they got absorbed by someone, and they gave me $1,500 a piece. I felt like the man. I was like, boom. I was out there spending credit and stuff, and I think it impacts people, and that's not lost upon me, because it's a heady thing for someone to give you access to 30, 40, 50, 60, $70,000 just on your signature. But I want to instill something different. I want you to feel the power, the rush of earning 30, 40, 50, 100 grand a month, and then using credit as a convenience. That's what I want for you. And if you're following this hustler porn, because once again, everything is designed like extreme couponing, traveling for free, this credit card thing, taking advantages of their credit card offers is a complete industry. It is a complete industry, and it's because people don't have the money to do what they want. Like, hey, I did not use all my points to fly first class when I went to London. I was like, that was just a whole gang of points. I can actually take 3 trips for the points of flying first class to London. So I just went coach, and the plane was half empty. So there was like nobody sitting in the middle of us. So it was a comparable experience. And they gave us a lot of snacks. Friend's wife almost left him. He works 70 hours a week, driving apps, end of the month, 6,000, but he's still trying to be a musician. Derek Brown, especially secured business cards. Yeah, there's only a handful of them. Wells Fargo has one. Someone else put it in. I forget the name of it. Jonathan, ties for fraud. Fake it until you make it. The Genesis report. How much does the amount you declare you make affect the amount of credit card issuer will give you? Say someone is in the 70 to 80K range. All right, let me tell you how that works. First of all, you have a credit profile. Equifax, TransUnion, all this stuff, they have a profile for you. And it's automatically score driven, meaning that the computer looks at your score, and if everything checks out, you will get possibly, there's like ranges. If your score is kind of janky, you're going to get like the lowest limit. For premier cards, that's 5,000. If your score is perfect, your credit profile looks good, you're going to get the max, which is probably 30, 35,000. The income you put on there is relevant to a degree, but it really depends on what your credit profile says about you. Let's say you could put down 250,000, but your credit profile is short, it's whack. You're only going to get the minimum. But if your credit profile is tight, you'll get the maximum. So that's some things. And part of your credit profile is how old is it? That's another issue with him. His credit profile, because see this thing, every time you get a new credit card, it lowers the average age of your credit history. So here's someone with $3.2 million in open credit lines with less than, depending on when he got them, less than 1 year of credit history. Yeah, that's very implausible. Kyle Snead. Pay cash on one duplex, will convert the other duplex and add 2 more houses on the other one properly over the next 5 years. Real life monopoly. That's a $2 million feeling, Glendon. Anton Banks. I'm a fan of Ty, but test 1, test 2. Actually, I meant to go like 2 hours, but I felt that the battery was going to be long enough. It's been a while since that happened, but we're so far in, that's not a big problem. It really isn't. All right. That's funny. No, because one of the things I want to do is make Friday stream the long one. Because like I said, I'm not doing any more streams on the weekends, so we can just kind of let it roll on Friday. Kind of getting a feel for this. What's going to happen is live streams will be in the AM, they'll be in the PM, and then they won't be on the weekends. So that's the thing. Oh, I didn't even notice that. I mean, it was just like it went out. I had like 3 bars, but apparently they weren't enough because this has been going on. It's been going on for an hour and 40 minutes. So now I know. All right, so what I'm going to do, let's see, where are we with this? Okay. Oh, I will put this up again for those of you who want, because we're getting, actually, yeah, that's going to end at 5:30. So whatever you want, you can get it for 40% off. Probably going to make this a main thing. This is the code for today because this ends at 5:30. So make your purchases now and ask whatever questions you want because we will chop it up because I'm going to end this at 5:30. So that's what's going down. So that is it. I have to kind of put myself here to see any last questions. Yeah, Fridays will be the long stream because I'm not doing weekends. I'm going to actually start taking time off. Leslie, with these, essentially, if I wanted to, I would put myself on as a W-2 employee and pay myself a salary throughout the year. And that would look like a W-2. Here's a little trick that you can do. Let's say you just started your business, right? You put yourself on and give yourself a paycheck. And you go apply for a car and he's like, here are my pay stubs. You don't even tell them you're self-employed. I did that for years. Now, once again, if you like, all right, here's the trajectory of what's going to happen with this. I'm not getting paid. I didn't get paid last year because I was doing consulting. Probably will get paid mid-year. And what'll happen is the income grows up. I'll probably put myself on the salary like $25,000, not some big. And then I will take my other income through quarterly distributions from the S Corp. Oh, you don't even have to hold me to that because now I've been, if you haven't noticed, I've been really testing out some stuff and it seems consistent. One stream in the morning and one stream in the evening and just take weekends off. Because YouTube has kind of been blessing me a little bit with these dual streams, just a little bit. So we'll see how that continues to go. Plus, there's a lot of other things that are coming this way. So many things. All right. So once again, I'm going to put this here. No, I'm not going to put that there. I'm going to say this once again. All right. So for those of you who want anything, it's 40% off. Probably going to start doing this Friday. And next week, we're going to do something completely different. And this is the code right here. Go ahead and grab that. And I'll answer questions for the last 14 minutes. I'm actually going to stay here until 5:30. That was the intention. That was the plan. So we will see how that goes. And I am looking at some stuff. Okay, cool. Because next week we're going to do some very different things. Very, very, very different. Let's see, what else do we have here? Kylie Lee, get to me on that next week. That's funny. So we'll talk about that next week. Any more questions? Because like I said, I'm here to 5:30. Then I am bouncing. I might try borrow something from Ty. We'll One of the things about doing multiple streams on multiple platforms, you kind of need more people because there's so much that goes on. There's so much. Leslie. All right, Leslie, how much money are we talking about? How much money does your business make? Hot song beats, can't decide where to put my money in savings. No, put your money towards paying down student loan debts. First thing, let's talk about attitude money. Everybody needs some attitude money. You need 5 to 10 grand somewhere. This is attitude money. This is not money to invest. This is money to play around with. 5 to 10 grand in a checking account in case you lose your job. You need that. Then you can start addressing some of this other stuff. The cryptocurrencies. We will be talking about that a little later. There's a whole separate channel to that. Pretty much. Because the thing is, how much money is it? What does it look like? What are your long-term goals? So we got 11 minutes. 11 minutes. And then I am off. Who's watching football this weekend? It should be very interesting. Let's see. So you got a side business that made $82K the first year, and you also have a job, if I'm hearing you correctly. Question. What have you done with that money? Is it all sitting in the bank account? What's going on with it? AJJ Pool, when Ty runs his multiple streams, there's always, there's a lot to running live streams. Sobe never had a credit card but student loans. Secure card. In-home health care, so no overhead. So you kind of like watch old people or elderly people. Okay. What did you do with the 82 grand? Where is it? Because you got to pay taxes on that. Football's going to be on every smart device that I have. I know. Because once you pay taxes on it, you could do whatever you want to. So the $82,000, you made that and you didn't spend any of it and you just lived off your job income, if I'm hearing you correctly. You need attitude money. You use $30K to fund your trucking business. Okay, so there really isn't 82 grand. All right, so you got a home health care business and you have a trucking business. Days South, you need to try to pay those bad boys off. Student loans will jack up your credit report. I am not going to get into business tax tips because we're dealing with Leslie here. And as we go through it and we get deeper into it, she used $30K to fund the trucking business. So that's, if she's got her LLCs properly set up, she can use that money to offset her profits. But once again, I have no clue to what she's really doing here. What's the latest someone can reserve a seat for the next live event? Well, let's look at the calendar. Next Friday, the 20th, which is January 20th. That's the latest someone can reserve a seat. BM110. Trying to holler hustle camp where I put in the code. After you sign up and you go to the payment plan, there should be, let's see. You know what? Hold on a second, because this has kind of been a problem. Let me do this real quick. Screen capture. Let's hope that this doesn't crash. All right. Nope, that didn't work. I came up with some crazy stuff. Let's try this again. Screen capture. All right, new. We didn't hit window. That's what happened. And boom. Come on, come on. Come on. Let's see. Is that still working? Still working. All right, so you do this. Hustlers Kung Fu. All right, so you go here and you buy. Then you put, I'm going to be Shaba Ranks. Then we're going to go rs@gmail. This will probably be someone's real Gmail account. And then we'll go create account. Oh, really? Password's too short? Get out of here. How about that one? So you use this and you put 40%. Hit apply. Well, let's see. There we go. Hit apply, and that does it. Then you go to Google. So that's how that works. And let me get rid of that because that's I don't really know how many windows I can take here. There we go. I'm back. Let's see. Yes, I live on my job. Still hadn't got the truck yet. All right. When you say you used 30 grand to start your trucking business, where did the 30 grand go if you hadn't had the truck? Charlotte McKinney, how do you define a hustle, a business, and can a hustle become a business? Some hustles can become businesses, but all hustles cannot become business. So the money is still sitting in the bank. So is the 80 grand sitting in the bank, or is the 30 grand sitting in the bank? Everybody wants to hear your story, Leslie. They're coming for you. They're coming for you, Leslie. Alex Hollis. Spill the tea. We want to know. Congratulations on that. No, Craigslist isn't. Well, essentially, you just need to bring yourself and your laptop and stuff. I mean, we do a lot of stuff because right now the live events, the first live event was one person. The second live event was 3 people. So, I mean, this is the way to get the most access to me for the Lolo, because as these things grow, it's going to be a little different. The Genesis Project. Do you think it's necessary to have a CPA? Yes, I absolutely do. Okay, so 80K is still sitting. Well, what's going to happen is when you file taxes, you're probably going to lose about 20 some to 30 some of that. Anton Briggs, Glendon's 30 days to 25 started last week of December at 6,900. Congratulations. So you got some options. Are you incorporated, or are you just doing a sole proprietor? And why are you afraid to start a truck business? Like, once again, the 30 grand for the truck, is that what you intended to put down on the truck? I mean, you gonna pay a grip in that money. You really are, because it's just sitting there in the bank. So they gonna come for you, about 20, 30 grand. They will be coming for you. Now, let's see. I'll stay a little longer. Let's say I had Leslie's situation. And let's kind of go back to January 2017. I would start, depending on what she's doing. It kind of sounds like she's trying to get multiple streams of income: her job, the personal care business, and the trucking business. I would start an LLC, and that would be the holding company. And then I would start another LLC for the home health care business. And then I would start another LLC for the trucking business. And the holding company would just collect money. Yep. You're going to be bodied by the Internal Revenue Service. The live event, everyone that is a member of Hustle Camp that is paid in full, and remember, Hustle Camp started at $99, they can come to the live events. If I get enough interest in people wanting to play a price for the live event, I'll put up a price next week. Kylie, can I start out with my sole proprietorship and switch it to... Question, why would you want to start off a sole proprietor and keep it going for half a year? I don't understand. Short change, Leslie Rich. Well, she hasn't started the trucking business yet, Donald. That's the problem. Good thing, Anton Briggs. Oh, there's sound. You just got to refresh your screen. All right, so lightning round. This will be it until Monday, and Monday we're coming with some new fire. So you can get any course, including Hustle Camp, which is that's $5,000. So you get 40% off of that. And this is the code that you need to use. I'll probably let it go for like 30 minutes because I know a lot of people are still on the stream, and I think the stream ends in about 30 minutes. So there you go. Where are we? Ant Banks. Well, if you're playing the game, you filter up no money. Watch out for those Ben gold diggers. I'll explain that. That's actually what I will be talking about in the live event. Bank account seeds. What are you talking about? There's a lot of things. Okay, it's 5:30. I've answered all the questions. Once again, let's put this up here. This is any course in any course at Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skills, 40% off for the next 30 minutes, and then it changes. I'll be back next week, Monday, probably 8 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. I'm going to take the weekend off. I'm going to watch some football, get my mind right. And then next week I'm coming with some new stuff, some good stuff. It's going to be awesome. So, all right. I will see you guys next week. And you guys have a great day.